So in this lecture, I want to look at how and where we can use just additional patterns and the type of syntaxes we have available to us. So there are many different syntaxes and ways that we can create a match arm, but I just want to introduce you to a few just to kind of show you what all is available to us. So let's create a variable x and assign it to 1, and then we're going to match on x, and then inside here we want to say 1 or 2. So if the value of x is 1 or 2, then we want to print out 1 or 2. And then to make our match exhaustive, we want to say anything else, let's print out not 1 or 2. So when we run this, with x being 1, we expect it to print out 1 or 2, which is exactly what happens. And then just to verify that we are getting the desired behavior, change x to 10 and rerun it, and we see that we get not 1 or 2. So this syntax up here with this operator is the OR call, the OR operator, I should say. And what it's doing is it is saying, hey, if x is 1 or 2, then this statement is true, so execute the following code, which is exactly what happened. So let's comment that out and let's look at a different way. So now we're going to match on an inclusive range of values. So we'll leave x is equal to 10. We'll match on x again. And in this case, we'll say 1 to 5. And if it matches in that range, we'll print out matches. Otherwise, we're going to print out not matching. So we see that we got our little red squiggly. Let's check out what it says. It is telling us the exclusive range pattern is experimental. So to fix this, we need to add in the little equal sign. So now it's going to be 1 to 5, which includes 5. So with our x being 10, we expect this to print out not matching. But when we go to 5, I anticipate it saying that it matches, which is exactly what happens. So this is how we can use an inclusive range to check over a range of values to see if something matches. And then lastly, we can use an if condition specified after the pattern and a match. So let's check this out. So let's say let x equals to sum 5, and then we'll say let y equals 5, and then we're going to match on x, and we'll say sum 10, and then we're going to print out 10. Okay? But then we're going to do sum x if x equals y, then we want to print out matches. And then otherwise, we just want to print out our default statement, and for ease, we'll just print out default. So now we have sum 5, y equals to 5, and we're going to match on x. So when we run this, we see that it says it matches. So how is this working? So we're passing in x to our match statement, and then x is some value, and then x is in here as well, which in this case it is going to be 5. So if 5, which is referring to this x right here, equals y, which is 5, and then in this case we know that 5 equals 5, so we are able to execute this block of code. So now if I change this to 10, so x is going to be sum 10, then we anticipate 10 being printed out, which is exactly what happens. And then obviously if I put in 15 here, so we're not going to, this is going to be false, this will be false, well then we expect default to be printed, and that's what we get. So through the last few lectures we have learned about enums and pattern matching, which is a very powerful feature Rust has. And as I mentioned earlier, we were going to cover generics in the next section, so let's continue on with what traits and generics are.